Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins All World, friends. If you love coin collecting, treasure hunting, or just the thrill of discovering something valuable in the most unexpected places, then you're in for a treat today. We're diving into the story of the 1991 Roosevelt 1 dime, a coin that many people overlook, yet a few lucky individuals have turned into serious money. The Roosevelt dime is one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage. First introduced in 1946, it was created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a leader who guided America through some of its toughest times and helped establish the March of Dimes campaign. Since then, the design has remained largely the same, featuring Roosevelt's portrait on the front and a torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the back, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Now, 1991 might not seem like a particularly special year at first glance. It's not ancient. It's not a centennial. It's not part of a special edition or commemorative series. But in the world of coins, rarity, condition, and errors can make all the difference, and 1991 was full of surprises. Let's break this down. In 1991, the U.S. Mint struck Roosevelt dimes at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. You can usually tell which one you have by looking for the little P or D mint mark on the coin, just above the date. Millions of these dimes were made for circulation. That's the key word, circulation. Most of these coins were spent, dropped, carried, tossed in drawers, and scraped across vending machines for decades. That kind of wear and tear adds up, and pristine versions of this coin are rare. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Some 1991 Roosevelt dimes were struck with errors, imperfections that happened during the minting process. We're talking about things like off-center strikes, double die obverse, missing mint marks, and even clipped planchets. These aren't just flaws, they're fascinating anomalies that make a coin one of a kind. And then there's grade. Coins are professionally graded on a 70-point scale, and when a 1991 dime manages to survive in mint state, especially in grades like MS 67 or higher, collectors take notice. These dimes must be virtually perfect, no scratches, no signs of wear, full details on Roosevelt's face and hair, and brilliant luster. That kind of condition, especially for a coin from over 30 years ago, is far from common. But when you combine a rare minting error with a nearly flawless condition, magic happens. That's when a dime becomes more than pocket change, it becomes a collector's dream. So here's what you should do. Start paying attention. Check your coins. Take a closer look at those dimes sitting in your change jar or hiding between the couch cushions. Look for the date 1991. Inspect it closely. If it looks too clean, too perfect, or just a little different, don't ignore it. You could be holding a hidden treasure. Now, here's the part you've been waiting for. One of these rare 1991 Roosevelt dimes, professionally graded, preserved in mint condition, and featuring a notable error, was auctioned off to a collector who knew exactly what they were looking at. That tiny, 10-cent coin sold for a jaw-dropping $33,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $33,000 for a single dime. So the next time you find one of these in your pocket or change tray, don't be so quick to spend it. It might just be worth far more than you think. Today's star? The 1981 Roosevelt 1 dime. A coin you've likely seen hundreds of times without knowing it might be hiding a story, and a serious payday. Let's rewind to 1981 for a moment. It was a year filled with cultural shifts, changing politics, and of course, millions of coins pouring out of the U.S. Mint. Among them was the Roosevelt dime, still carrying the timeless portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, a tribute to a leader who helped guide the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. The reverse, as usual, featured the torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. At first glance, the 1981 dime doesn't look any different from the dimes before or after it. It's not rare because of a low mintage. Actually, millions were struck that year at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. You can tell which mint yours came from by the tiny letter above the date, P for Philadelphia, and a D for Denver. But don't let the numbers fool you. In the coin world, it's never just about how many were made, it's about how many survived under the right conditions. Here's where the fun begins. Most coins from 1981 went straight into circulation. That means they were used, abused, scraped, dropped, and rolled around for decades. Finding a 1981 Roosevelt dime in truly mint condition, no scratches, no fading, no loss of detail, is already rare. But when a coin like that shows up, collectors start to pay attention. Now let's add in a twist: mint errors. These are the tiny mistakes made during the minting process that make certain coins stand out. Maybe the design was struck off-center. Maybe there's a doubling in the lettering. Or maybe, just maybe, there's something totally unexpected, like a missing mint mark or a die break. Whatever the error, if it's real and rare, the value of the coin skyrockets. Some 1981 dimes have been discovered with fascinating die varieties, misstrikes, and other anomalies that collectors love. Combine one of these rare errors with perfect or near-perfect condition, and suddenly, this humble little dime becomes something truly extraordinary. So what should you be looking for? Take a good look at the dimes in your drawer, your wallet, your coin jar. Look closely at any 1981 dimes. Check the lettering, the mint mark, the sharpness of the details. Use a magnifying glass if you have to. If something looks unusual, or if the coin looks like it just rolled out of the mint, it might be worth getting it graded by a professional coin grading service. That's where the magic can really happen, because once a rare 1981 Roosevelt dime is officially graded, especially with a high mint state rating, MS 67, MS 68, or even higher, it becomes a hot item in the collector market. Now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. One of these dimes. A 1981 Roosevelt dime in absolutely exceptional condition, with just the right error and a stunning mint state grade, was once sold in an auction that caught the attention of the entire coin community. The final sale price, $30,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A coin worth 10 cents when it was minted ended up selling for $30,000. So, the next time you get a dime as change, don't be so quick to spend it. That little silver disc could be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Today, we're going to take a closer look at a coin that proves even the smallest change can carry massive value. I'm talking about the 1975 Roosevelt 1 dime, an ordinary coin with a not-so-ordinary story. Welcome back, coin collectors and curious minds. If you've ever wondered whether that little dime sitting in your change jar might be worth more than 10 cents, you're about to find out. Because the 1975 Roosevelt dime is turning heads in the world of rare coins, and for good reason. Let's go back to 1975. America was buzzing with change. The Vietnam War had come to an end, technology was moving fast, and pop culture was exploding. And in the midst of all that, the U.S. Mint was producing coins by the millions to keep up with daily commerce. Among them was the humble Roosevelt dime, minted as always with Franklin D. Roosevelt's face on the obverse, his proud, determined profile staring into the future. The reverse featured the classic torch, flanked by olive and oak branches, symbols of peace and strength. At first glance, the 1975 dime looks like any other. It's easy to overlook. After all, it's not a rare year, or is it? Here's where things get exciting. In 1975, the U.S. Mint was already preparing for a major milestone, the American bicentennial in 1976. As part of that transition, no quarters, half dollars, or dollar coins were struck with the 1975 date. They skipped straight to 1976 to prepare for the big celebration. But dimes? Dimes kept the 1975 date. Millions were minted in Philadelphia and Denver. You can find the mint mark just above the date, a small P for Philadelphia or a D for Denver. But not all 1975 dimes are created equal. In coin collecting, the real value often hides in the details. A seemingly simple coin can become incredibly valuable when a rare minting error occurs, or when it's preserved in near-perfect condition. Some 1975 Roosevelt dimes are known to have striking errors, like off-center prints, die clashes, or even doubling in the letters. These aren't your everyday mistakes, they're rare occurrences that slip through the cracks of quality control and end up in circulation. When a collector finds one, especially in high condition, it's like striking silver gold. then comes condition, the grading system that can make or break a coin's worth. Dimes that have been in circulation tend to show wear. They've been dropped, passed from hand to hand, worn down by decades of use. But every so often, a coin survives untouched, minted, packaged, and preserved in a way that keeps it looking brand new. These are called mint state coins, and the higher the grade, the higher the value. Now, imagine this: a 1975 Roosevelt dime with a rare minting error, and it's in flawless condition, sharp detail, perfect shine, and not a single scratch in sight. That's the kind of coin that collectors dream of. So why does this matter to you? Because these coins are still out there. In drawers. In jars. In forgotten rolls of coins tucked away in storage boxes. And if you take the time to look closely, really closely, you might just discover one of them. Look for the 1975 date. Examine the edges, the details in Roosevelt's hair, the precision of the torch on the back. Any unusual features or signs of an error? That could be your clue. Now, let's talk about the moment that turned heads in the coin world. One of these dimes, a 1975 Roosevelt, preserved in exceptional condition with a rare error, was authenticated, graded, and eventually placed in an auction where bidding got fierce. Seasoned collectors knew what they were looking at. They recognized its rarity, its beauty, and its flawless state. When the hammer dropped and the final bid was called, this single Roosevelt dime sold for a breathtaking $37,000. That's right, $37,000 for a coin smaller than your thumb. Just imagine what might be sitting unnoticed in your pocket, your wallet, or your childhood piggy bank. So before you spend that dime without a second thought, stop and take a good look. You might be holding onto something far more valuable than you ever expected. Today, we're diving into the world of hidden treasures, forgotten change, and the kind of coin story that makes collectors lose sleep at night. Because today, we're talking about the 1967 Roosevelt dime, a small coin that could carry big value. Let's take a step back in time to understand why this dime matters. The year was 1967. America was in the middle of a cultural revolution. The Vietnam War was raging, the civil rights movement was rewriting history, and the summer of love was about to make headlines. In the background, quietly and steadily, the U.S. Mint continued its work, striking coins for daily life, including the dime, bearing the strong, stoic face of Franklin D. Roosevelt. Since 1946, the Roosevelt dime had become a mainstay in American pockets. Designed to honor the president who helped lead the country through both the Great Depression and World War II, and who founded the March of Dimes, it was more than just currency. It was a symbol of resilience, but 1967 was no ordinary year for U.S. coinage. Here's the twist: from 1965 through 1967, the U.S. Mint stopped placing mint marks on coins. Why? Because they were trying to discourage coin hoarding after silver was removed from most U.S. coins. The Mint wanted the public to believe all coins were the same, regardless of where they were produced. So every dime from 1967 looks similar at first glance. No D for Denver, no P for Philadelphia, no S for San Francisco. That alone makes them unique among modern dimes, but here's where the real story begins. Even though mint marks were left off intentionally, that doesn't mean all 1967 dimes are equal. Far from it. What makes some of them incredibly valuable comes down to two key things: condition and errors. Let's start with condition. Most coins go through years, sometimes decades, of circulation. They get scratched, worn down, bent, and damaged. But every now and then, a coin survives untouched. These are called mint state coins, and the higher their grade on the 70-point scale, the more collectors are willing to pay. A 1967 dime in mint state 68 or higher is extremely difficult to find. Think about it, over 55 years of history, and somehow, the coin looks brand new. That's the definition of rare. And now, let's talk about mint errors, the collector's jackpot. Some 1967 dimes were struck off center. Others had die clashes, double dies, or planchet flaws. There are even examples where the rim isn't fully formed or the edge reading is misaligned. These tiny imperfections might seem insignificant, but in the world of numismatics, they can send a coin's value through the roof, especially when paired with a flawless grade. And here's the exciting part: 1967 Roosevelt dimes with these rare characteristics still exist. They're hiding in old coin rolls, forgotten collections, dusty drawers, and even your pocket change. Every time you handle a dime from that year, you might be touching something truly rare, something worth much more than its face value. So what should you do? First, check the date. If it says 1967, set it aside. Next, look at the coin under good lighting. Is the strike sharp? Are the letters and details crisp and defined? Is there any doubling, any odd texture, any unusual curve or shift in the design? If so, you may have something special. And if the coin looks flawless, like it never spent a day in circulation, consider having it professionally graded, because while most people would spend that dime without a second thought, someone once found a 1967 Roosevelt dime with the perfect combination of rarity and condition, and they made a decision that paid off in a big way. That single dime was authenticated, graded at a nearly flawless level, and auctioned to the highest bidder. The final price, $39,400. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth 10 cents when it left the mint ended up selling for $39,400. So the next time you get change at the store, take a moment. Look closely. You never know what kind of hidden fortune is sitting right in the palm of your hand. That seemingly ordinary dime you have could be hiding a surprising fortune, especially if it's a 1999 Roosevelt dime. You may think of it as a mere 10-cent coin, but what if I told you that a single 1999 Roosevelt dime could fetch thousands of dollars at an auction? Stick around, because we're about to uncover the story behind one of the most fascinating finds in coin collecting. Let's take a step back in time. The year was 1999, a year of big transitions. The world was preparing for the turn of the millennium, and Americans were experiencing technological growth like never before. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was quietly doing its work, producing coins for the masses, including the Roosevelt dime. A dime that had been in circulation for decades but was still a popular piece of everyday currency. The 1999 Roosevelt dime is not unlike the other dimes that were minted in its time, featuring Franklin D. Roosevelt's iconic profile on the obverse. He's been a symbol of strength and leadership ever since this dime first made its appearance back in 1946. On the reverse, you'll find the familiar torch, olive branch, and oak branch, the classic symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. But here's the thing: what makes the 1999 Roosevelt dime stand out isn't the design, but what could be hiding in plain sight, its condition and any mint errors it might have. Let's talk about condition first. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. Most coins from 1999 were used in everyday transactions, passed through hands, dropped, scratched, and damaged. But sometimes, one of these dimes escapes the wear and tear of daily life and survives in mint condition, sharp, shiny, and flawless. A coin like this, in uncirculated mint state, could be worth far more than its face value. We're talking about coins with zero scratches, perfectly defined edges, and crisp details. If you come across a 1999 dime that looks like it just left the mint, don't be so quick to spend it. But wait, there's more. The story gets even better when you factor in mint errors. Now, this is where things get really exciting for collectors. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin striking process. Maybe the die used to strike the coin was misaligned, or the planchet, the metal disc that gets struck to make a coin, was damaged or off-center. There are also coins with double strikes, where the design appears twice, creating an interesting and rare anomaly. All these imperfections, though small, make a coin far rarer and more desirable to collectors. You see, the value of a coin is determined not just by the year it was minted, but by the details that make it special. And if you happen to stumble upon a 1999 Roosevelt dime with a striking error or a unique flaw, it could be worth significantly more than the usual dime you find in your pocket. Some errors in coins from this era, like off-center strikes or die cracks, have led to stunning increases in value. So what's the real value of a 1999 Roosevelt dime if you happen to find a rare, mint-condition version or an error coin? hold on tight, because this is where the story takes an incredible turn. One of these 1,999 dimes, struck in nearly flawless condition with a rare error, was auctioned off to the highest bidder. The excitement surrounding this coin was palpable. Collectors from all over the world were eager to get their hands on it. The bidding war was intense, and when the final bid was placed, this single Roosevelt dime had sold for an astounding $27,500. Yes, you heard that correctly, $27,500 for a coin that was originally worth just 10 cents. This is the magic of coin collecting, the hidden gems that lie in wait for the right person to find them. You could be holding onto a coin right now that, with the right condition or a unique error, could fetch thousands of dollars. And the best part is, many of these rare coins are still out there, just waiting to be discovered. So, what should you do next? Check the dimes in your change jar, check your pockets, or even go through your old coin collection. Keep your eyes peeled for any signs of mint errors or coins that appear to be in pristine, uncirculated condition. If you have any doubts, consider sending your coin in for professional grading. You never know what treasures you might have sitting right in front of you. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of coin collecting and want to see more valuable discoveries, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Coin collecting is a thrilling adventure, and you never know when you'll uncover the next hidden treasure. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next dime you hold could be worth $27,500.